And we are back. Thank you for staying with us. Exposing Politcs is a collection of poetry. It's a spoken word pointing fingers at the systems and processes manifesting and harvesting inequality and discrimination in America as well as globally. Here now to share a little bit more about the book is award-winning author, filmmaker, poet, Oscar Sanders. Sanders, thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely, John.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Challenging the American political system, huh?
Yes, because it's raggedy. And basically it's disrespectful of people, and it's almost like a global hate going on in the world. We marginalize human beings, and we kind of mask indentured slavery by saying that we are employing people and we're making them better when people have to have 3 jobs, they can't have health coverage, they can't have pre-existing conditions. It's constantly a maze and a trap for people, and then there's this small percentage of people who are very successful, have more than they need, and it seems like it's a game to keep it away from everyone else. So it's like the proverbial brass ring, so to speak.
So you take this passion, now you put it to spoken word.
Correct. Because sometimes we don't really understand the nature of what's going on, because a lot of times corporate media sits around and they kind of cherry pick what they want to explain to us and the way they explain it to us. And then they make us feel like they're doing us a favor when they're actually been holding us back. So my purpose is, through the fact of entertainment, is to actually give them education. And so I'm working with kids because I always felt kids were marginalized. They never really get the true education. We don't educate kids. We always educate kids to get jobs. We never educate kids to be entrepreneurs. We never educate kids to be civilly engaged in their own future. I think it's very powerful when you feel or you see adults on the great lawn, but then you see a kid with them. It's stronger. And we have to understand and educate that kids need to know, what's out there for them and what's not. And then they need to be fighting for that. It's great to play video games, and it's great to have fun. But also, too, when you live in a culture or a society that doesn't really love you, you have to be a lot stronger and a lot more assertive in your own future.
So you really do a good job of trying to draw people in your spoken words. You have one man, and you got 10 different characters?
10 different characters. So professionally, I'm schizophrenic because I don't know who I am sometimes. I could be Captain Barbosa, I could be Sidney Greenstreet, I could be Vin Scully, Peter Lorre, Jimmy Cagney, a Jamaican protester, a British commoner, Johnny Cash. Take your pick.
Who am I talking to now?
Oscar Sanders at the moment. Oscar Sanders.
Oscar Sanders here with us. He's talking about his spoken word, Exposing Politcs. It's a collection of poetry. You got some work here too, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite characters was Captain Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean. And the story is, ye old spoken word, is based on the fact that as a society, we seem to not take seriously the perseverance and the nurturing of our youth. So this poem is basically about how we marginalize education and those benefits for kids in our future.
Take it away real quick.
Yes. I dare ye sully thy reputation with unholy presumption. Cast ye main starboard like ruin among the bounty. Why must I look for inspiration? Why must I look for misbehaving? I have been sweeping the dustboards beneath your cupboard for 80 a day, plotting for the moment to eradicate slavery away. Contemporary slavery is very much among us, like botulism or a reflected fungus, not in the hinterlands, where some wanted to be, at least seemed to be. Within the far depths of your cranial bastions, within the delights of your Octavius fashions, gaze upon young Bishop. He's a dependable lad. You have hindered his pursuit to be a university grad, with your incessant dependent on low wages, void of future sages. By the way, have you seen the price of mortgage rates lately? Winnie thy whip and chinny thy chain, I've labored tirelessly for the East India Trading Company for 3 bloody months and a day, learning the loin of my ilk, the texture of my silk. Shakespeare has nothing on me. He might write about it, but does he have the might? I doubt it. I have lived a life worth a tran of goats. More than 10,000 pages I have wrote. Keep underestimating the desire of the Negro. He will sow your country into a greater country. If you smoke weed, you'll probably get the munchies. But forget about that. 15 men on a wretched winch chest. Yo, ho, ho, how we get in this mess? I remiss of pirate matey. Oh, got me own baby, and I love her. Ahoy, ahoy! I am Lord Sanders, Oscar Sanders. Who the hell are you?
Oscar Sanders, award-winning author, poet, and filmmaker, talking about Exposing Politcs, a collection of poetry. Now, real quickly, you got an ebook coming out.
Absolutely. Our ebook is out on January 21st, and you can get that at Amazon.com or MalcolmEntertainment.com, or you can get the paperback February 21st, and there will be a launch at Sisters Bookstore and Cultural Center on 156 Amsterdam, February 21st, 6 to 8.
Before we wrap up, what do you want people to take away from your work? Excellent work. What do you want people to take away from it?
I haven't been paying attention to my life, my world, and I need to probably turn down the ratchet television and get more engaged in my own future.
Oscar Sanders, a
Absolutely.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Captain Barbosa, a whole bunch of other characters right here, right here. But we want to let you know if you want to check out Exposing Politcs, a collection of poetry. It's going to be available on ebook, as we said, on January 21st. And once again, the paperback launch taking place Friday, February 21st from 6 to 8 at the Sisters Uptown Bookstore and Cultural Center. That's located at 1942 Amsterdam Avenue. Now, if you want to reserve a seat or if you have any questions, you can always email malcolmentertainment@yahoo.com. Taking a quick break, but when we return, we'll sit down with the licensed real estate salesperson to discuss several tips for first-time home buyers or sellers. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned. We'll come right back in a few.